through a certain set of things that actually will enable you to write a good essay. So before starting our session, there is a few things I want to convey with you. The first thing that either it is like the essay or like the GS answer or whatever it may be, no one can actually teach you that. Only like the mentors or the faculties or even through these classes, we can only guide you what are things you have to do. And while doing those things, you have to learn the things by yourself. Okay, so only by learning the things yourself, you can actually internalize them and can implement them. So only through internalizing and implementing this information in the UPSC examination, you can actually fetch marks. Okay, so as the Galileo Galilei has said once, you cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him discover it within himself. So basically, there are the ideas, there are the informations, or whatever is required to write a good essay is there within yourself. So through this session, through this workshop, we actually help you to discover lies within you. So that's what we are going to do. And one more thing I just want to say you or to convey to you is that don't train until you get it right. Okay, so you have to train until you can't get it wrong. So for that, we have devised a plan. So if you thoroughly follow this particular plan, I can assure you one thing, that definitely you can fetch 130 plus marks when it comes to the essay. Okay, so you can easily fetch 130 plus marks in essay. So that's a guarantee from our side if you would like thoroughly follow this particular session. So let's get into the session. So I just want to tell you how we are going to further proceed. Basically, along with this session, we will be providing you an essay workbook. So every week, you have to fill this essay workbook. There will be like different kinds of assignments will be there. So hardly it will take like 1 hour or 2 hours per day. And you have to just work on it. By the end of the like 2 or 3 months time, you will be having the required informations, the content that is to write a good essay. Okay, that is to write a persuasive or like a catchy essay. So this essay workbook is so essential in this program. So you can download this essay from the app. Okay, so you can just download the essay workbook from the app and you can follow whatever has been said there. Now, what is our approach? So in this program, we will be following this curriculum-based learning system. So in this system, we will be focusing on guiding you, as I said, through a set of things. So that actually not only helps you to build your content, but along with that, it will help you to build a skill. So this particular skill development is so essential when it comes to like the UPSC examination. And one more added advantage that you will get along with this session is that if you properly work for the essay, okay, if you properly work for the essay, definitely it will help you to think multidimensionally for the GS answers in the mains examination. Okay, so that is an added benefit. So this is the particular thing I just want to convey you with regard to our program. So how it is working. So there are two things. First one, you have to follow whatever we are telling you. The second thing, you have to work accordingly the guidelines that is given in the essay workbook. Okay. So just I want to like introduce myself to you. So I'm Shereef. So I have scored like 133 in 2019 essay. Okay. So you can just compare these marks with the others. So for example, in 2018, the topper was like Kanish Kataria. So he has got 133 marks. And in 2019, the topper was Pradeep Singh sir, Pradeep Singh IAS. So he actually got like 140. And when it comes to like in 2020, it was Shubham Kumar sir, and he got 134. So this mark 133 is like pretty good mark compared, like if you consider the recent trends of the UPSC, getting 130 plus is like really good marks. But at the same time, there are like aspirants who's getting only like 65 marks in essay combinedly. Out of the 250, they will be getting 65 only. Okay, so this actually shows that there is like actually two extreme ends when it comes to the essay. Either you can fetch very good marks or like you will end up with getting like a low marks. So at the end of the day, this is going to either like make you rule or like to ruin. So keeping this particular thing, you have to prepare for the essay. So it's like basically if you spend some time, it is going to give you more. Okay, if you just analyze the cost benefit, the essay is going to give you much more marks than the GS answers. So it's better to like give some time for the essay, and this is the right time, because after the January, you have to dedicate like enough amount of time, or like you will be like completely shifting your preparation towards the prelims examination. You have to prepare for the GS paper 1 as well as like the CSAT paper. So this is the time for you to actually work on the essay. At least like build the content required for writing after the prelims examination. So this much all about this particular thing, and we can directly go to our session. Okay. So I think like I just want to give you a brief introduction. You will be starting from the very basics, and after that we will be going to the higher levels. So those who's like first into this UPSC civil service examination, who actually like not given any mains examination before, I will just introduce you the structure of the essay. In the UPSC examination, there will be like 8 questions. Okay, there will be like part A and the part B will be there. Okay, from part A, there will be 4 questions, and part B, there will be like 4 questions. Out of the 4 questions, you have to write at least 1 question. Okay, you have to write 1 question. And from here also, you have to write 1 question. Okay, so from both the sections, you have to write 1 question. You can select any of the question. Okay, so there will be 4 questions. Out of that, you have to select any 1 question and you have to write the answer. So which means that each of the section carries 125 marks each. And the word limit that UPSC has given is like 200. So this is the word limit that UPSC has given. And considering the number of the pages, UPSC will be giving you like, just a second. Okay. So UPSC will be giving you like 5 to like 6 pages, which means that you will be getting 10 to 12 sides. So each page you can fill almost like 100 words. So this is the overall. Move on to the steps in writing a good essay. The first one regarding the essay is that like anything from the question paper, while you're picking the questions, make sure that you understand the question very well. That's the first step. When it comes to writing a good essay, the very first step is like understand the topic. Once you understood the topic, then it will be easy for you to like brainstorm on that particular topic. So I will tell you why this understanding of the topic has become so much important, because in recent times the UPSC has changed its pattern, and UPSC in recent times has started to ask more philosophical questions. So when it comes to the philosophical questions, there can be multiple interpretations. So if you like misinterpret any of the topic, then that will lead to low marks when it comes to the essay. So it is very much important, that is, it is very crucial that you have to interpret. You should like thoroughly understand the topic and interpret that topic in the right manner. So the most crucial thing when it comes to, or the very first thing regarding the essay is like understanding the topic very, very well. And the second thing regarding the essay is like the brainstorm. You have to brainstorm very well. Whatever topic that you are going to take, you have to brainstorm. Like you can take like 10 to 15 minutes to brainstorm on that particular topic. And only after that, you have to start writing the essay. Don't blindly go and like, don't start the right away. Okay, don't right away start writing the essay. You have to give certain time and you have to brainstorm. So from starting to the end, you should plan accordingly. What are things that you are going to write? So these things you have to plan and then only start writing it. Why this is important, I will tell you in the next slide. Okay. And the next thing is that structure. Just like in the GS answer, the essay is also having a structure. Basically, we can say that intro, body, conclusion part is there. But each of the part is so much like sophisticated. There are like certain things that we are supposed to follow in each of these things, just like the GS answer that we are writing in the mains examination. So that thing is also so important, the structure of the essay. Okay, structure or like brainstorming. Why it is important? Because there are like essays. So the 4 types of essay or the structures that you can follow to write a good essay in the UPSC are like, the first one is like a narrative essay, and the second is descriptive essay, and the third is like expository essay. And so each of these things is like so important. If you can identify a particular topic belongs to any one of this particular category, then it is easy for you to like structure that particular topic. Okay, so let's get into the details. What is each of this essay, or like what is this each of this type is? So the first one is like the narrative essay. So in a narrative essay, it should be like the essay will be going like we are telling a story, and the story should be in a structured manner, and that has to be presented in a chronological order. So the two things that matters when it comes to a narrative essay is that the structure. The structure of the essay is so important, and the presentation, that's also in a chronological order. These are the important things when it comes to a narrative essay. So this particular question that is asked in the 2022, we can consider this as a narrative essay topic. So here the question is like, history is a series of victories won by the scientific man over the romantic man. This is the particular question that's asked in the 2022. So here, the things, the ideas that we have in a chronological order. So how over the time, how over the centuries, that the scientific man has won over the romantic man. You can present different kinds of ideas. You can like bring different kinds of argument, and you can like substantiate each of this argument with the different kinds of examples. It's all up to you. But if you follow a narrative essay model, you have to present them in a chronological order, and that will fetch you comparatively higher mark, and because it will be having like that order. Okay, so that's important. And when it comes to the interpretation, you can give like different kinds of interpretation. But while giving the interpretation also, there are like certain things that you have to keep in mind, because UPSC is demanding certain things from us when you are like actually writing the essay. Because UPSC has specifically given not like the syllabus, but UPSC has given specific instruction when it comes to the essay. So here, what all interpretations can you give? So for example, you can interpret the scientific man as rational. Okay, and this romantic man as someone who is always like fantasize. Okay, if you go by this particular interpretation, then you can bring like different dimensions over the time, how this rational man or like the scientific man has won over this romantic man. And one more thing, if you have like just gone through the poetry, say for example, if you have taken the literature as your option subject, definitely you may be knowing that the romanticism or the romantic means self-centric. The romantic means self-centric. And a scientific man or like a rational man, which means that he is more of a rational, he is like more social. So you can bring this particular dimension also into this essay. So accordingly, you can bring different kinds of dimensions, and you can like give different kinds of interpretations, and you can like further proceed. So what kind of an intro you can give based on this, like you have interpreted this, then the next stage that you will be going is like to give an intro. So basically, like you can give any intro, how like a rational man has won over the romantic man. So here, like I just want to give you like a glimpse. What will be the intro that I will be giving? So you can take the issue of Russian Revolution. Okay, you can consider the Russian Revolution, or like any of the revolutions you can consider it. If it is like against a monarchy or like an autocratic rule, you can consider that. Because a monarch or like an autocrat, he will be considered, or like we can consider him as a romantic man. He is like fantasizing, he is on his own world. And the people or the like the leaders that is emerging from the public, we can consider them as the scientific man or the rational beings. They are actually fighting against this romantic man, and they are winning over it. So this is one particular situation or like the criteria. So here, like in the Russian Revolution, you can like write about the Tsar, okay, and how this Tsar rule has been like dethroned by the later Russian Revolution. Okay, so you can write about this particular thing, and you can show that the scientific man has won over the romantic man. Likewise, the interpretation is there. But when it comes to a narrative essay, you can start it from the ancient time and you can fetch it into the modern times and also into the future. And each of the time when you are presenting a particular topic, you have to give the rationality behind it. You have to give the supportive arguments, you have to give the supportive analysis, and you have to substantiate that with the required data or like the information. So that thing is like for all the essays, it's like so much important. Now let's come to the second type of essay, that is like a descriptive essay. And when it comes to a descriptive essay, as you can just get the idea, it is description, which means that it aims to paint a vivid picture about a particular topic or an information. So it will be giving a different dimensions of the topic, and it will describe the experience or like the object or the topic in great details. So actually what is like, you will be deconstructing or like you will be like separating it into different components, and you have to analyze each of this component and present your view. This kind of an essay is called the descriptive essay. So these are the topics or the questions that's appeared in the last 2 years, which actually fits into this descriptive essay pattern. So the first one is like, the society that has more justice is a society that needs less charity. We know that a society that has like, that is following this justice in its every aspects, either it is like social, political, or the economic, if it is like thoroughly following this thing, definitely it will be having that prosperity. And if the society is having that prosperity, definitely it doesn't need any kind of charity from outside. So you can give in what all perspective the justice has to be followed, how each of this justice or like following this justice will lead to the prosperity of the country, and how that will lead to less charity to that particular society or to that particular state. Likewise, you can write. So here, going against this particular statement or like going against this particular idea is like not good, because it is like a universal truth. Okay, any society, if that has this justice, definitely it will have the prosperity. Okay, so going against this particular topic is like, it will be a disaster when it comes to the essay. So in descriptive essay, we will be going into the different components of this particular topic in detail, and we will be presenting it with whatever support we have. We will be like providing different kinds of current examples or like from the historical examples. Through that, we will be giving or like we'll be supporting this particular thing. Okay, the rest of the topics also falls into this particular category, that is descriptive essay category. Now, coming to the third type, it is called expository essay or like the informative essay. So here, there is a slight difference. The earlier we discussed about the descriptive essay. Okay, the earlier we discussed about the descriptive essay. So in this descriptive essay, along with the informations that you are providing, definitely you will be providing different kinds of the informations. But along with that information, you have to give your analysis. Okay, so when it comes to the descriptive essay, it is important that along with the informations, whatever informations that you are giving, that has to be substantiated with the right analysis. Okay, analysis that you have to provide. So this analysis has to be further substantiated with the different kinds of data and information. Okay, we will give you the idea how to present the different kinds of data and informations. Okay, that we will discuss. Anyway, just keep in mind, when it comes to a descriptive essay, along with the informations, you are supposed to provide the analysis. But when it comes to an informative essay or like an expository essay, we have to give more informations. So compared to a descriptive essay, the information, the amount of the information, the volume of the information contained in an informative essay will be enormous. Okay, so what are the different kinds of informative essay topics that I have asked in the past? The first one is like this one. Okay, here you can see the girls are weighed down by the restrictions, boys with the demand, two equally harmful discipline. So if we thoroughly analyze this particular thing, we know that in any society, either it is in the United States or in the Somalia or in India, the girls, there are like different kinds of restrictions that is imposed upon the girls. And when we consider the gender counterpart, that is the male, they are actually like demanded. There are like the society or the family, the friends, or like the entire ecosystem is demanding certain things from the boys. So both of these things is the result of the patriarchal system that the different kinds of the societies has followed over the time. So because of this patriarchal nature of the different societies, both of these things is putting a harmful discipline before the society or like the upcoming generation. So through this socialization process, what is happening is that both the productivity as well as the cognitive development of the girls as well as like the boys is inhibited. Okay, I think like you're getting my point. So this is the case of the majority. You cannot actually counter this particular statement because like this is a majoritarian statement. There will be like some random one or two examples, but with that you cannot substantiate your counter argument. So you have to go for like agreeing with this particular statement. It is not wise to counter this particular statement. So just go with the flow, just go along with the directions, or just like you have to agree, confirm with whatever the informations or whatever the statement that is given in this particular question. And what you should try to do is like that. You have to support this. You have to like go into the different kinds of the restrictions, the different kinds of like the demands that is put on each of this counterpart, and you have to substantiate that. And you have to analyze different impact. Okay, and what measures should we have to take in order to overcome this? So you can go into the different dimensions of that particular topic, and you can go into the particular details, into the minute details, and you have to support that with the different kinds of the informations, I mean, globally. Okay. Now, like the second statement, history repeats itself, first as a tragedy, second as a first. So this particular topic, as I said, you can go or like you can write this particular essay in a chronological order. Okay, in a chronological order also you can write. That's the first category of the essay. And this can be written in this informative essay way also. Okay, so the best way to write this particular essay is either go for the informative or like the chronological order. These are the two different kinds of the way you can present this particular essay topic. Okay, so I'm not telling like this way you have to write. This is also one way you can write an answer. And if you're writing an essay in this particular structure, there is high chances you will get or you will fetch good marks. Because those who are like evaluating this essay are the academicians who is having the experience of like many years. So the moment that they look into an essay, they know the standard of the essay. In between, like if you start the essay in a chronological order, then you are going into an analytical essay, then finally coming to this expository or like the informatory type. So this actually shows that you actually don't know about the structure of the essay. Okay, so those academicians or those professors, they are well versed with this kinds of academic writing. So when they see someone who has followed this set of standard, definitely they are going to like reward you accordingly. So that's why I'm giving you the different informations. Like there are different types of the essay. If you can rightly identify each of the essay, each of the topic, then if you write accordingly, there are chances like you will fetch very good marks. Okay, so that's regarding it. Now, the last type of essay, it is called the persuasive essay or like the argumentative essay. So when it comes to a persuasive essay, because this is the type of the question that UPSC has asked the large number for the last 2 years. Okay, so when it comes to a persuasive essay or like the argumentative essay, you have to take a stance. You have a stand. So that stand should be what is given in the question. And you have to substantiate it. And you cannot go against that particular stand. So that is the uniqueness about the persuasive essay. But when it comes to an informative essay or like a descriptive essay, you can present the counter argument, you can go against it. So that kind of a flexibility is not available with respect to the persuasive essay. So you will be supporting this argument, you will be supporting this particular information in its like entirety. Considering the different aspects, you will be supporting it. So that is regarding this persuasive essay. So one particular topic that is asked in 2023 regarding this is education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in the school. So this is like a topic that is given. So here, actually going against this particular topic is suicidal. Okay, so you have to persuade, you have to actually like convince the reader, convince the examiner, giving the different dimensions of this particular thing. And finally, the examiner should be in the same shoe as you. So if he is like actually impressed by the way you have presented this particular idea, then definitely he will give you the good marks. You will fetch good marks. Okay, so when it comes to the essay writing, there is like a popular talk, like the popular saying, which is that if this examiner has taken your essay paper, he should forget about the everything else. There should be like a flow. Okay, there should be a flow in the essay so that the examiner will forget about the rest of everything and he will be like entirely concentrated on the essay. So for that, you have to give like different kinds of hooks. There should be like something that connect the examiner with your essay. So I can just give you an example. So like I think like most of you have watched different kinds of movies, isn't it? Over the time, like you may have like watched different kinds of movies. There will be like certain movies that you hold dear to you, like that is like memorable, or at least like there are like certain characters or like certain moments in the movies, animes, or the series, whatever you have watched. There will be like certain moments or the characters that is dear to you. So why is that? Because that particular character or that particular movie or that particular incident has created a bonding with you through emotionally. Okay, that particular bonding, if you can make with the examiner, then you succeeded. So for that, you have to express the emotions. You have to ask the questions. You have to sometimes use like we, so that the examiner will feel like a connection. So these are the different kinds in order to like get the attraction or the attention or to bring the examiner on your side so that you can score good in the essay. So we will be discussing all these things, how you can bring the examiner by presenting the ideas. So at the end of the day, if your essay can enlighten the examiner, so if you can find something interesting, something like informative, analytical, something new in your essay, the new perspective, that originality in your essay, definitely he is going to reward you for this particular thing. So these are the smallest thing, but that makes a huge difference when it comes to the essay. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. As I said, there are like the common components, any answers that we are writing in the mains examination. Definitely it will be having an intro, a body, and a conclusion. The same is there for the essay. But when it comes to each of this part, while writing the essay, we have to be like more careful. So why it is? Because I will tell you. So when it comes to the intro, you can like actually the intro is like the first statement. You may be knowing this famous saying that the first impression is the best impression, isn't it? The impression that you make in the first, that is the best impression. So if you can make a good impression in the examiner, definitely he will be into your essay and he will continue, like he will be like curious. He want to know what is there. So actually you can establish, you can connect, you can like build this particular bonding through the intro. So intro is like so important. So you have to like actually choose a wise intro, which is very much apt to the demand of the question. And also one more thing, while choosing this intro, you should make sure that the intro correctly and completely represents that particular idea. Okay, you can either choose like one particular story or like you can give two different kinds of stories to show the two different contradicting ideas of the particular topic. Anyway, it should completely reflect the idea of the question that is given. So that's regarding the intro. So it actually presents the topic of your essay. That is the first thing. And the second thing, at the end of the intro, we are supposed to provide this thesis statement. You have to provide this thesis statement, which actually is a preamble to your essay, what you are going to discuss. So it should be presented in such a way to generate a curiosity in the mind of the examiner. Yeah, this particular person is going to like discuss about this and this and this and things. So I just want to know about these things. So such a kind of curiosity you have to create in the mind of the examiner. So that is like, that becomes so much important. Okay, so I think like you understood it. Anyway, we will like discuss on each of these things, how to give like a catchy intro, how to give like a thesis statement that actually impress the examiner. So each of these things we will be discussing in the subsequent sessions. Just at these sessions, we will be going on the overall program introduction only. Okay. So through this, you can actually get or you can grab the attention of the reader. So these are like the different kinds of the objectives that we have to fulfill through the intro. And when it comes to like a crafting a thesis statement, So this statement is so important, which actually like act as a connecting link between the intro and the body. And usually the thesis statement, say for example, if you have written an intro of like 80 words, the thesis statement should be like 40 to 50 words, so that it will stand out. Okay, after that, you will be entering into the body, and which will be of the usual paragraph length. It will be like either 80 words or like the 100 words. But usually in every essay, I mean, in any of the standard essay, the thesis statement will be somewhat small compared to the rest of the components or the rest of the paragraphs of the essay, so that it will stand out. So keep that in mind. So in such a concise way, in such limited number of words, you have to express the entirety of your essay. That is the challenge when it comes to presenting the thesis statement. Okay. And there are two things, as we have already discussed. When it comes to a persuasive essay, it is essential to take a stand. So in this persuasive essay, as I told you, like in a persuasive essay, we have to take a stand and we cannot go against it. We will be having like a stable stand and we will be following that particular thing. We cannot give a counter argument to that particular thing. So your stand has to be expressed in the thesis statement itself. And the subsequent essay will actually be substantiating or like reiterating the stand that you have taken. So that's when it comes to a persuasive essay. And when it comes to an expository essay, that would require a thesis statement that articulate the focus of your investigation. As I said, in an informative essay or like an expository essay, we will be going into the different components of that particular essay. So in the thesis statement itself, you should show the vividness or like the different dimensions of your essay to the examiner, so that it will create a curiosity. Okay, so that's regarding the informative essay or like the expository essay. So what you should understand is that for each of the essay, the type of the essay you are choosing, the kind of the thesis statement, the kind of the intro, the kind of the body, the kind of the conclusion that you are supposed to follow is set. There is a standard. So that standard, if you are following, definitely you will fetch good marks. So don't get like too much confused or like scared because of all those things. Definitely we will be going through each of those things. And believe me, at the end of the sessions, you will have that confidence that yes, I can fetch 130 plus marks. And you will realize that, yeah, there are like this and this kinds of like tricks are there. It's actually not like the tricks. It's actually like the observations, the skills. So there are like skills. And if you particularly, I mean, specifically train on this particular skills, definitely you can fetch that good marks. So that's what we are going to analyze, how to develop that particular skill. And when it comes to the body, like every part, you can compartmentalize your body into different kinds of segments. So for example, when it comes to the UPSC essay, you can compartmentalize that into like 3 or 4. And each of the compartments, you can give a subheading. And under each of the subheading, you can divide like different paragraphs. Okay, so there should be like different paragraphs. So the entire essay, as I told, there should be like 1,200 words. In this 1,200 words, if you are like actually writing 80 words in a paragraph, so it will totally take 15 paragraphs. Okay, so there will be like one intro, one conclusion, one thesis statement will be there. So almost like 3 is gone. Now it is remaining 12. So this 12 paragraphs, you can divide into either 3 or like 4. If you're dividing that into 3 like subheadings, each of the sections will be having 4 paragraphs. And if you're dividing it into like 4 sections, each of the section will have 3 paragraphs. So accordingly, you can plan the entire essay beforehand. So in each of the paragraphs, so this is like a micro planning. In each of the paragraph, you can plan what you are going to write. So accordingly, you can write the points. Okay, so this is how you have to structure the entire essay. And when it comes to the body, like this is the most crucial thing. Here, actually, you have to write a lot of the points. And while writing this point, make sure that you are not actually repeating it. You are not actually boring the examiner. If he feels bored, he will stop the reading. Okay, he will like right away analyze your stand, your like capacity, your capability, your language, your way of presentation, your structure, everything will be reflected in this particular like part of your essay. and that will impact. Okay, so however good is your intro, if you cannot maintain that momentum, that impression in your body, then definitely it is going to like become a disaster. So each of the paragraph, as I told, you're presenting here should be complete on its own. Like whatever the arguments that you are providing there, try to complete that argument, the different dimensions of the argument within that particular paragraph itself. And each of the paragraph will be like about different things, so that the examiner will feel like reading something new in each of the paragraph. And one more thing you have to keep in mind, that while going from one paragraph to the other, it shouldn't feel like some like distinct ideas. There should be a flow from this particular idea into the next idea. I will show you how you have to do. I mean, you can do this particular thing. So you have to maintain this flow from one particular topic into the other topic, then into the other. And finally, you will be giving like a conclusion for each of the section. As I told you, you will be dividing it into like 3 or 4 sections. For each of the sections, there will be like a conclusions. And based on that conclusions, you will be giving the next subheading and you will be continuing. So that kind of a flow should be there. So the examiner should forget about taking a break in between reading your essay. Okay. And the most important thing is that present your ideas in a logical order. Don't just give some kinds of like random examples, some random kinds of statements, some random data. Just throwing these kinds of information, it doesn't make any sense. It only shows that you are a bookish person, you are like a knowledgeable person, but it doesn't show your analytical skill. So whatever data you are presenting, it should have a logic. So that logic actually comes from the analysis that you are making. Okay. And for that, you have to provide clear evidence. That analysis has to be further supported by the different kinds of the informations or data. So these are the different things you have to like be careful when it comes to the body part of your essay. Okay. And finally, when it comes to the conclusion, it's actually like wrap up your entire argument. So you are like actually like concluding. So in a conclusion, say for example, when you are writing the UPSC mains essay, you will feel like you missed some aspect. At the end of the essay, you will be like remembering about something new. And don't bring that information or that idea in conclusion. Because the conclusion has a purpose, that is to conclude. Okay, so it shouldn't open or like it shouldn't introduce a new idea in the conclusion. Because that will break the purpose, or like it will like fail the very purpose of the conclusion, and your essay will feel like incomplete. You have introduced a new idea and there is no further talk about that particular thing. So basically an essay should be feel like an interaction between the reader and the person who has written this essay. So in this case, it is we and the examiner. So it should feel like an interaction, a discussion. So you cannot like end the discussion by introducing a new topic. That should be like complete. And one more thing that you can do is that, as I told you, just after the intro, we have introduced like as a statement. And in order to like just further reaffirm that you have traveled or like you have gone through only through the subjects or what the information that is provided in the question, you can reiterate or like reaffirm the statement once again in the conclusion. Okay, so that the examiner will feel like you are close to the subject of the essay. So these are the things you have to be careful when it comes to the conclusion. And there are like different types of the conclusions that you can follow that we will discuss in detail in the subsequent like lessons. Okay. And this is actually the direction that the UPSC has given when it comes to writing the essay. UPSC has not given us any kind of like syllabus. Only what UPSC has given us like this direction. So we can just read this direction. Here it says that the candidate may be required to write essay on multiple topics. Yes, that is clear, because like UPSC has given 8 questions, we are supposed to write 2 questions, one from part A, part B. So that's clear. The candidate is required to write essay on multiple topics. And what is following? It follows, they will be expected to keep closely to the subject. Just as I said earlier, we are supposed to follow or like we are supposed to keep to the subject as closely as possible. We shouldn't like deviate from this particular topic. In order to just fill the space or like to complete the word limit, You cannot deviate from the topic and bring some random information. Whatever you are presenting, it should be like close to the subject of the essay. That should make sense to the examiner. That should make sense when it comes to that particular topic. And the next thing that the UPSC demand is that arrange your ideas in the orderly fashion. Okay, you have to arrange your ideas in an orderly fashion. And finally, you have to write it in a concise. Okay, you have to write it in a concise format. So finally, the credit, that's what we want, the marks. Okay, so the marks will be awarded only for the effective and exact expression. So that's where this particular things comes into play, because like if the expression or the writing is not effective and exact, effective in the sense that whatever you're saying, the idea you want to convey, if that is not rightly conveyed into the examiner, he is not supposed to give you the marks. It is not about the information you have provided. It's not about the different kinds of like things you have written in your paper. It's about how well that particular idea is conveyed to the examiner. So it becomes subjective. Essay is so much subjective. That's where the presentation has become so important when it comes to the essay. Compared to the GS paper, the presentation has become so much because this particular guidelines is given in the UPSC, like the syllabus itself, the UPSC guidelines itself, the UPSC notification itself, it is given. So like whatever information you have given, it become like nothing. It becomes like null and void, as the Supreme Court saying, it becomes null and void if it is not effectively and exactly gives the expression or like conveying the expression. So how we can do that? Before that, again, just go through the 4 important things. Okay, so what matters in UPSC essay? The first thing, you have to keep closely to the subject. You have to keep closely to the subject. And the second thing, arrange the ideas in the orderly fashion. That is the flow. The ideas should be arranged in an orderly fashion. And the third thing, write concisely. You have to write each of the points in the very concise form. And the next thing, effective and exact expression. Please keep these 4 things while writing any essay. While you are taking the mock test or like while you're taking the test series or you are like writing for a practice, keep these 4 things. This is the most crucial thing when it comes to UPSC essay. Okay, even if like you are having limited knowledge, but if you can express your essay or if you can write your essay in this particular way, you are going to get marks that you are not even like imagined. Okay, so if you follow this thing, definitely you will be fetching like 130 plus marks. That's more than like 50%. So that is the key objective of our this session. So just for next 5 minutes, we can analyze what were the different kinds of the topics that is asked, because based on this only, we can formulate a strategy for the essay. So we'll be starting from 2018 and we will be going till 2023. What evolution has happened with respect to the different kinds of the topics or the way that particular topics is asked in the essay. So here you can see, you can just read each of this topic that is given. While reading this, you can at least you can understand what this particular topic is about. So each of these questions or like each of this topic is like very subjective, nothing philosophical. Okay, most of them are like subjective. Only the second thing, that is a good life is one inspired by love and guided by knowledge. That is the only like the topic that is philosophical. The rest everything is like very subjective. Okay, and even when it comes to the subjective questions, the idea is like very much clear. There is not much confusion. So you can just go through it. Please read it. Okay, either if you want, just you can pause the video and read them. That is so important. Now, going to the next thing. Here, the nature of the UPSC has again changed. Okay, because in the first section, in session A, all the questions are philosophical. Okay, all the questions are philosophical in nature, whereas in section B, it has become like subjective. All the topics given as subjective types. Okay, like the biased media is a real threat to Indian democracy, or like the rise of artificial intelligence, a threat to jobless future or better job opportunities through reskilling and upskilling. So the different kinds of keywords or the dimensions that is given, the UPSC itself has given. But when it comes to the section A part, wisdom finds truth. Value are not what humanity is, but what humanity ought to be. So these are the different kinds, because like the toughness of the question with respect to the philosophical part is increased. Okay. And when it comes to the 2020, okay, like the question, the nature of the questions has like entirely changed. Most of the question has like shown a tilt towards the philosophy. So the entire first part is actually philosophical in its nature itself. Okay, the entire first part is like philosophical. And even the second part is also subjective question, but that subjective question is actually wrapped in a philosophical way. The culture is what we are, the civilization is what we have. And the fourth question is like the technology as the silent factor in international relations. Okay, so here the nature or the importance of the philosophical questions has started increasing. Earlier, there were only like 4 questions. In 2019, the section A has 4 questions. That is basically from the philosophy. But now the philosophical questions has started to ask from section B part also. And when it comes to the 2021, this was considered as one of the toughest essay paper, 2021. Because the students has faced actually in order to understand what the question is about. So you can like just go through each of these things. The process of self-discovery has now been technologically outsourced. We can just understand that this particular question is something about the technology, but if I ask what this question is about, then it will be like very difficult. I mean, just consider you are in the examination hall and that moment you are getting this particular question, then definitely it will be like difficult for you to identify what this question is about. Then the second thing, your perception of me is a reflection of you. My reaction to you is an awareness of me. Okay, definitely we can interpret it in like a different way. You can give like a different kinds of introduction. I have seen like students giving like different kinds of interpretations from the lives of Buddha, China, or like the other important figures like Mahatma Gandhi. So you can give anything. Okay, but apart from that, how you will get into the details, that is a challenge. Then the third question is like, the philosophy of wanderlessness is utopian, while materialism is chimera. So here you may feel like the language proficiency has become so important. Only those who is having some kinds of the 2021 paper. And the fourth question, the real is rational and the rational is real. So this particular question, please like keep this in mind. The real is rational and the rational is real. Okay. Then the next thing, the hand that rocked the cradle rules the world. Okay. And at the first reading, most of you won't be like able to understand it. But those who are like well versed with this particular question or like have gone through the analysis of this particular 2021 paper definitely will know. So this particular question or this particular topic is about the woman empowerment. Okay, so if you have identified that particular thing, then you can write about the woman empowerment, whatever information you have. So identifying this particular or like understanding. So in our first discussion, we told that the most important is when it comes to writing the UPSC essay is like understand. Okay, so this is why understanding a particular topic has become so much important. So that only you can brainstorm. Then you can structure. So these are the different things we have analyzed or like we have discussed earlier. So understanding that particular topic is so important. Make sure that you have like the crystal clear idea, you have understood that particular topic very well, then only pick that particular topic. Otherwise, go for the other one. So when it comes to this particular paper, like you cannot be sure about any particular topic. So in such cases, go with any topic which you are like more comfortable with. You are like, you well understood that particular topic. Only go with those topics which you have good awareness. Make sure that, go for repeated reading. And those who is having this knowledge, who know Hindi, just read the counterpart of the questions, the question in Hindi, and make sure that your idea, your understanding of the question is right. Then only go for writing that particular topic. Okay. then you can just go through the other questions also, and you can understand that from 2021 onwards, the UPSC essay question has become completely about philosophy, or like the nature of the question has changed into philosophy. The pattern has continued in 2022 as well as in 2023. So in 2022, these were the different kinds of the questions. You can just go and read each of this topic and you can find it yourself. And this is the questions that is asked in 2023. Okay, so here comparatively, you can see that there are like 8 questions asked. So among them, comparatively an easier question is this one. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned at school. This is something like you may have heard as a quotation, as a quote, you may have heard this before. So this is like comparatively one easy topic. So definitely most of the aspirants may have, I mean, those who has given the 2023 mains definitely would have picked this particular topic. So for our analysis also, we will be taking this particular topic, not because it is easy, but it will be easy for you to convey the ideas. How like we are like focusing on the structuring or like presenting the ideas. So we have to take an easy topic to present that particular ideas, how we have like structured this particular thing. So we'll be taking it in. Okay. So let's move on. So as you have seen, there like before 2021, like after 2021, there is like a change, a pattern change that has actually happened when it comes to the UPSC essay. So that changes that, as we have discussed, from 2021 onwards, the essay has almost become like essay has become entirely philosophical. Okay. So before 2021, the pattern we followed is that when we get an essay topic, we will go through each of these things. We will be analyzing that particular topic in its political and legal aspect, and we will be going through the economic aspect. We will be going into the socio-cultural aspect, the international relation aspect, the environment aspect. Okay, and we will be presenting the different viewpoints. So when it comes to a subjective essay, this particular approach actually works. Or like we will be going through another approach that is like the agent or the stakeholders. At the individual level, what this particular thing means. At the societal level, how it is. And at the national level, how it is. And finally, at the global or like considering the entire humanity, how it is. So these are the 2 different kinds of the approaches. Among them, this first approach, like the political, economic, social, IR, or like the environment, this kind of an approach is not that good when it comes to a philosophical essay. But the other thing definitely will work, because any kind of like philosophical thought, how it works in individual, how it works in the individual level, how it works in the societal level, how it works in the national level, considering the entire nations, and how this works for the entire global community, we can analyze it. So that works for the philosophical essay also, this particular structure. And the next thing, in the new pattern, as we have already discussed, the biggest challenge when it comes to presenting an essay, just a second, okay. So in this new pattern, the biggest challenge that we are presenting, that we are facing is, as we have already discussed, understanding has become one of the most challenge when it comes to the new pattern change with respect to this philosophical question. And the second thing, as we have already discussed, there are like certain kinds of demands that the UPSC is like actually asking, or like the demand that the UPSC has put forward. So we fails to meet this particular demand. If that is a subjective essay, it is easy for us. But when it comes to a philosophical essay, meeting this particular demand is a challenge. And the next thing is like the flow and the multi-dimension. That is also missing. And most of the time, when it comes to a philosophical essay, we'll be restricting our thought to a particular dimension only. We fail to think about the other arguments or the counter perspectives. So for every philosophical ideas, there will be like different kinds of perspective, and we have to bring that. And presenting that idea in the orderly fashion has also become a challenge, because while analyzing a philosophical essay, there will be like different kinds of points that randomly coming into our mind. Even though we have like done a brainstorming, there will be like random points coming in between, and we will be like in a hurry to incorporate each of this particular thing in our essay. That actually ruins our presentation or the very structure, the flow, or the very flow of the essay. So this also happens. So with this new pattern, these are the different kinds of the challenges we actually face. Okay. So now moving on to the next thing. with respect to this particular change, that is into the philosophical change, when the essay has changed into this particular aspect, the UPSC is now checking, or like the UPSC is now assessing the deep thinking. They are giving us some philosophical thoughts and makes us think about that particular thing. So we want this deep thinking. So just like the earlier subjective essays, what we have done is that for like we will prepare some themes. Like there will be like environment related themes will be there, economy related themes will be there, political themes will be there, women empowerment related themes will be there, social issue related themes will be there. And for each of these particular themes, we'll be like preparing, we'll be collecting different kinds of informations and data, and we'll be presenting these things. So that's what we have done. But for an essay, which actually demands this kinds of a deep thinking, we cannot go with something like that ready-made thing. So more than like those informations, when it comes to this new pattern, this philosophical essay, we need more practice. Whatever thing comes or whatever questions comes, we should be able to think like in different dimensions, and we have to present that idea. That's why we say that it cannot be taught, but only can be trained. So that's where this essay workbook actually comes to play. So we'll be giving you this essay workbook that you can download for free. Okay, and you have to work on it. And once you start working on it, definitely there will be like structured building of idea. And once this idea is structurally organized, then it will be easy for you to like reproduce these ideas in a structured way, because that's the demand of the UPSC. You have to present your ideas in the structured way. Okay, so what we follow is that basically the same pattern that we have followed in the subjective type of essay, that part we will be continuing. That is PYQ, we will be going for a theme-based analysis, and we will be preparing for each of these PYQ questions. And the second thing, like we will be incorporating your observations. So what this question is about, you have to like write about your observations. And the next thing, you have to collect different kinds of the codes. Of course, I know you will be doing this particular thing, but that's not the point. Okay. We will show you how our program, or like this particular program, is different. Just collecting the codes is not enough. Okay. Then the next thing, you should be having like different stories or the anecdotes for the purpose of intro, or like in order to substantiate your arguments, or like to start a new perspective in your essay, you should have different kinds of stories or like anecdotes. Then the next thing is data. You should have different data to substantiate your ideas or the arguments that you are going to give. And lastly, the next thing, you should have like the different kinds of the books or like the authors that you have read in the past. If you can present the different kinds of ideas from like renowned books or from the renowned authors, their statements, definitely that will have a different impact, and that will definitely fetch you good marks. So you can bring the different kinds of the viewpoints or the reviews of different kinds of the books in your essay in an effective way. And the next thing is that the current events. If possible, you have to get the events that has happened in the last 5 years. Okay, not just in the last 1 year. You can go up to like 5 or 10 years, but it should be in recent times if possible. So it should have a current relevance also. So pick some such issues, the current related or the current event related issues, and you have to keep it. And finally, you should have this keywords. Okay, for each of the essay, there should have a keyword, and we will be showing you how to present. I mean, just having this information is